Peace. What's up, party people? This is the Wordman, Gary Lime. I am reporting to you live from my writing station here in Brooklyn, New York. As you can see, get a good look at what you got here. We got, Creature from the Black Lagoon. We got Eddie and the Cruisers. We have Dano's really dope illustration of outer space. What else? Oh, in the background, you hear this absolutely wonderful song called A Spectacle. It's by a band called Can, which is C-A-N. Can is one of these just crazy, insane groups. It's a German band formed in the 70s. Initially formed with a African-American poet whose name I've since forgotten, but then he left the band. They then hired a Japanese singer, and they brought in an African percussionist, because that's what bands in Germany did in the 70s. It's so weird. Like, only in the 70s would that seem normal, But it's an awesome band. They've got like a great catalog of great music. The song after this is actually from Q-Tip of A Tribe Called Quest. It's a song called Man, Woman, Boogie, where he samples this, so you'll get to hear both of those. What else? Yeah, so also repping mightily. There you go. Mind of My Mind, Octavia Butler. Awesome sci-fi novel. Definitely go read it. But what the video is, so I've had several friends in the past couple days text or ask me what comics I've been reading lately, which I found kind of random, because like when 3 or 4 people ask you the same question within like a week of each other, independently of each other, you should, that's weird. So I figured what I would do is, rather than just have the same conversation 6 times, or however many times, I figured I would, tell everybody on the interwebs what I've been reading. So basically, in the past, say like a couple months, I picked up about 7 different trades, graphic novels, and I'm gonna show you what they are, and show you why they're awesome, and show you why you should read them. Yeah. We're gonna start first with two of my personal favorite characters, Dr. Doom and Black Panther. That's right, it's called Doom War. Get a good look at that. Doom War. And if you ever needed a reason to read a comic, this is pretty much it. It's Black Panther and the X-Men versus Dr. Doom. That's it. Like, what other reason do you need? You know what I mean? Like, what other reason would you need to read that? Like, and to make it even better, I got it hardback, and I got it half off. Bomb. like that's just beautiful. Like, what other, that's exactly what you want. You know what I mean? What I got after that, something else to show you guys, is this really, really amazing. I guess he's comics. I guess you'd call it more almost like a Far Side Glenn Larson type dude cat. This gentleman by the name of Glenn Baxter. I'm a huge fan of his stuff, and this is a new collection of his stuff. They kind of give you an idea for the weirdness that he kind of lives on, is because he's a weird dude. Like, the stuff he draws is just the weirdest, most hysterically awesome. I love it. Like, I think this is my personal favorite one here. You can probably get a good look at it there. It says, it was Tom's first brush with modernism. I don't know what kind of sense of humor you have, but if you got the sense of humor I have, you know stuff like that is hysterical. I love stuff like that. It's oddball, it's zany, just like, it doesn't even make sense, like Pecos Bill had a thing about household dust. That doesn't even make sense. I love it. All of his stuff is out of print and fairly hard to find, except for this. This came out this year. It's still in print. If you like weird, this is the way to go. Glenn Baxter, definitely check it out. And it's also cool hardback orange cover. Like, it'll look cool on the shelf. Other cool stuff we got here. We'll start with this one. So, I have a sister, as some of you know, her name's Robin, we call her Bobby. One of Bobby's favorite comics of all time is one called The Thunderbolts. And this particular collection, this trade here, collects the first 7 issues, I think? Yeah, first like 6, 7 issues. Now, initially, I was going to be a good older brother and buy it for her, because that's what good older brothers do. But I probably just gotta end up keeping it for myself. Because it's awesome! It's so great. It's Thunderbolts. There's probably a bunch of you who haven't read it yet. All I can say is I don't want to spoil it for you, because the first issue is perfect, and it has probably the greatest last page in all of ever. It's a great last page. If you don't know what the big... Don't spoil it for anybody if they haven't read it. I mean, what Thunderbolts is now is kind of lame to what it was at the beginning. And it was really, really great concept, really well executed, really cool looking characters, really well drawn too. Like, it was Mark Bagley, I think it was. Did I get the name? I think it was Mark Bagley who did it. But in any case, really great stuff. Bobby, I'm sorry. I bought it for you. I love you. You're my sister. You're my favorite little sister, other than Todd. But I'm keeping this for myself. I also bought, because actually, incidentally, Todd, my other favorite little sister, Todd, of course, being my younger brother, Todd and I were actually talking about superhero team-up. Marvel used to do this old comic back in the day where various characters would team up and they'd fight random villains. It was a pretty popular comic back in the 70s and 80s. They then flipped it and did supervillain team up, which is even cooler because it's 2 supervillains teaming up. Again, this is geeking out Wordman over here. So this is the entire collection right here of when Doctor Doom and Namor team up to, I don't even remember who it is they had to fight, but they ended up having to fight somebody, and then the Avengers show up, and Captain America is actually on Doctor Doom's side, which is something that doesn't happen often in comics. So, because Doctor Doom being a villain. But the other reason, and for a lot of you who watch this who aren't big comic fans, I want to explain to you why Doctor Doom is awesome, because this photo right here explains it. It's not just the fact that he's got all the Avengers like bowing before him, because that's cool, but yeah, whatever. But take a good look there, see if I can zoom in a bit there, right? Now that's a man, Doctor Doom, that is a man with a cape, a mask, and a hood. Like, there's levels of super villainy, like, like bad guy, Moriarty level type stuff, but you've never met a super villain who needed a mask, a cape, and a hood. Like, it's great. And make it even better, his name is a noun and a verb. Like, he's never not talking in first person. It's amazing. But this is a really, really great collection. Classic, I think it's like 70s, 80s stuff. And one of my favorite things about Doctor Doom is watching him beat up the Fantastic Four, which he does pretty well in this book. So if you're anti-Fantastic Four, that's a good way to go. Pointing at you, Brandon. I got a friend, Brandon, who doesn't like the Fantastic Four. So what else we got here? Oh, this is actually important. So, as some of you know, I have a nephew, a young nephew by the name of Joshua, young Yashwe. So as you see here, this is a plastic bag with something in it. Now, why that's important? Because Josh, I bought you something. It's in the mail for you, and you should be getting it on Thursday or Friday. So I hope you enjoy, because we were talking about comics, and you were like, oh, I like this comic. And it's a pretty good comic, the one you mentioned. It was good. You mentioned Wanted, which is a really cool graphic novel. But, as the cool uncle, it's my job to tell you about cool stuff and stuff that you need to be hip to. Uncle G. That's Uncle G's job right there. Uncle G's got to be like, yo, Josh, you need to read this. So this right here is going in the mail. You're going to get it Thursday or Friday. It's going to have a graphic novel in there you should definitely read, and a really, really cool book that I found for, like, stupid cheap. And I was like, oh, snap, Josh would love this. So I hope you enjoy that, too. Am I going to tell you what it is? No, because it's a surprise. You got to wait a whole 2 days. Other cool stuff I bought. I got 2 other things. So, there's this really, really, really great miniseries. I think it was only like 8 issues? Is it 8 issues? Yeah, actually 8 issues. Called The Marvels Project. Now, Marvel's project is sort of, Marvel does a really, really great history of sort of comics and stories and characters that relate back to World War II. So if you're someone who grew up reading comics as fervently as I did, yeah, I use the word fervently. Check that off. But if you're someone who's a big, fan or whatever, you've probably read a million stories about Nick Fury and the Howling Commandos, and Namor and the original Human Torch, not the Fantastic Four Human Torch, but the original one before him, and early Captain America and young Bucky running around punching Hitler in the face and doing stuff like that, which are all great stories. So when this originally came out, which was back in 2000 and I want to say a couple years ago, my good friend Ty was like, hit me up, bam, Wordman, you gotta read this. And I'm like, dude, come on, like, I don't need to read another book about superheroes fighting Hitler. Like, I'm World War II'd out in my comic book entertainment value, as well as, whatever. Like, I just don't need to read it again. He's like, dude, I'm telling you, you gotta read it, it's dope. Alright, fine. Get through the first issue, hit him back up, yo, this is amazing, I gotta get the next one. So, big shout out to Ty Diggy, who works over at Fat Jack's in Center City, Philadelphia. So if you find yourself in Philly, go to Fat Jack's, ask for Ty. T-Y, however you spell Y. I'm doing it backwards in the phone sometimes. But anyhow, it's a really great comic, a really great issue. It's really smart, very well written. It's not just standard bad guy take over the world stuff. Ironic because it is about, Hitler and the Red Skull, who you see here. Greatest name for a villain ever, by the way, How do you know which one the Red Skull is? But really well written comic, very smart, very sharp. Art is great in it, and this is the one to go with. So, finally, the last thing I picked up, which I'm a huge fan of because I couldn't find it anywhere because it's out of print for like forever and a day, and it's called Cenozoic, excuse me, I always screw it up. It's by the great Mark Schultz, who you see there. Now, you may also remember this as if you were a certain age, you remember this as a TV show, because they did a little cartoon of it called Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, because it takes place in this post-apocalyptic future where there's like 20 human beings left in the world or whatever, and the world is overrun with dinosaurs. Meanwhile, the people who survived are basically just mechanics and people who learn to, retrofit stuff. So it's literally a show about Cadillacs and dinosaurs, and this is the comic that it's based on. And it's got a good chunk of stories in here. This is a good, 200, 300 pages? Yeah, almost 350 pages, which is huge. It's oversized, too, so it fits, it looks good on like a coffee table. The other thing that's really amazing here about this stuff is, I don't know if you can get a good look at that, but this is top quality line work. Like, when they talk about, like, comics as, like, an art and everything else, what they're basically referring to, here's a great example, this is the kind of stuff they're talking about. All black and white, all shade, all with ink, like, being able to pull, and all that's by hand, dude. This is an older comic. There's no, no computers to do the work for you. So, really great stuff. It's, again, post-apocalyptic world. These people are fighting dinosaurs. And I don't know about you, because I can't speak on you and what you like and what you don't like, but you gotta like dinosaurs. Like, who doesn't want to read about dinosaurs and people fighting dinosaurs? That's awesome. So, I'm very excited I was able to find this. It's really awesome. It's really good. And it's really great illustrations. So, and really great stories. So, definitely check that out. That's basically what I said. That's what I picked up in the past couple months. It's about 7 things. So shout out to everybody who was asking what I'd read and what I've been reading. I don't know why you wanted to know, but there you are. And every day, let's see. Is there anything else I needed to say? No, I think that's pretty much it. Hope you had a good 4th of July. And, yeah, word. Peace.